Welcome. So we've been in this series called Monster Myths, and we've been slaying the monsters in our lives, Pastor Glenn, and hopefully we've slain a few of them so far. And today we're going to try to slay greed. Isn't it called the green-eyed monster?
Is that true?
Okay.
I happen to have green eyes, but that's beside the point.
You are the green-eyed monster. No, greed is one of those sneaky monsters. It's not the one that shows up, like at the door. It's the one that comes through the back gate, and
right.
For many of us, we don't even know it's there. For me personally, I have a list of things I pray for, and one of the ones I always list is greed because I know it's there. I just don't see it every day.
Yeah.
And so it sneaks up on us. It's kind of, and I'll say it this way, in America, in a way, we kind of can fall into greed, I mean, we see it politically, we see it economically, we see it in the business world. It just kind of, it's around us and can real quickly infiltrate our homes and our families. And we even have ways of justifying greed. We'll say, well, I'm just saving here, or my kids need something over there. And so we even have justifications for greed. And so today we do want to slay that monster and go ahead and get a handle on it. And biblically, we find this, that greed causes fighting, as it says here in Proverbs. It leads to failure. It leads to problems in our lives. And so we certainly want to slay that giant. So why don't you go ahead and take a look at the verses there, Proverbs, and there's a couple there. Take a look at those, and then there's one in Luke. Go ahead and take a look at that as well. And then we'll come back and talk about some of the points that we can live by and for.
Yes, so point number one, how to break free from the grip of greed. Point number one, learn to love God first and foremost. And a great verse here, Matthew 22, verses 37 to 38, Jesus said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind." This is the first and great commandment. And there's a progression there. We start by loving God with our heart, by receiving Christ as our Savior, inviting Him into our heart. And then we begin to love Him with our soul. We begin to love Him with our mind. And there's the more we love God, the less we're distracted by things we don't need, things that we want but don't have. And so that's a great reminder from Jesus. Love God with all of our heart, soul, and mind. And the point, love God first and foremost, may be a good thing to think about now, or if you're with some people, discuss this question. What competes with God for your love? What things are you tempted to put first when really we want to be putting God first? Point number two, learn to love others second if we want to break free from the grip of greed.
Yeah.
We've got to love others. We have to love God, but we also have to love others. Matthew 22:39, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And I love the verse from Philippians on the outline here. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. And I just think there's so much power in being willing to take an interest in other people, to listen to what people have to say, to ask questions that show them that we're interested.
And that's not natural, Philippians 2 right there. That's not our natural tendency to go that direction. But in faith and in the spiritual world, that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Philippians was a very diverse, multicultural place. You had people coming from all sorts of different cultures and generations, ethnic backgrounds. That's the kind of church that we hope to be.
Right.
And the only way that works is if we take an interest in each other,
right,
and care about each other and where we're from.
Yeah.
Maybe a great discussion question would be, or just something to think about if you're watching this by yourself, who has taken an interest in you at some point in life, and how were you able to recognize that this person was interested in you? How did that impact you? And how can you use that example to go and take an interest in someone else?
All right, so point number 3 is we're beginning to get a handle on greed is to learn the joy of living for giving. And as I was thinking about this, Glenn, I really think that when we bring greed to the table, God looks at us and says to bring generosity. Mm-hmm. And that really the antidote for our greed, which is common. I mean, it's just life kind of moves us that direction. When we're kind of walking in faith, then generosity is going to be kind of alive. It says this, you should remember the words of Jesus, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And if that's our heart and that's our mentality at life, then greed's going to be gone. We will slay that monster if we're really thinking about the giving and how can I give to a greater degree. And so again, greed kind of can jump up and bite us at different times. I know it does me. But if I'm coming at life through generosity, and whether it's generous in with my finances or generous with my time, generous with my encouragement, whatever it might be, when I come at things with a generous spirit, it really pushes back all the greed and kind of the selfish parts of our life. So I know you had some ways maybe people could be generous.
Yeah, I love that it's not just a don't be greedy. It's a here's an antidote.
That's
where
right.
You can be generous.
That's right.
And replace greed with generosity.
Yeah.
If you're thinking to yourself, that sounds like a great idea. How do I give? How can I be generous? Let us know that. Call Jody personally at midnight tonight. Absolutely. He will answer. No, if you'll just go to our website, communitybible.church, and message us there, somebody would be glad to respond, or just look through our website and you will see many ways that we can give. We have needs in our community. Our church has always been about serving and giving to our community. We have holidays coming up where we do an angel tree where we provide for families for Christmas. We provide turkeys for families around Thanksgiving. Yeah. And there are just so many ways to serve and give of your time. So if you're looking for a way to be generous, we want to help you with that. Email us, search through our website, let us know. We will hook you up.
Yep. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch up with you soon.